Hey everybody, welcome back. Here we go. SummerSlam is in the books. We are here to review it. And we got our man from Detroit, Mike D, to join us. He was there at the show. So,
What up, though?
guys, let's get into it, man. So strap in. And thank you for letting us into your ears. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance. We are hot off the heels of SummerSlam. An interesting show to say nonetheless, but guess what, guys? I am here with my man Chance Michaels and our guy from the 313 Detroit, Michigan in the house, Mike D, was at the show. Mike, how are you, brother?
Man, I'm chilling, man. How you doing, man? How you doing, Chance?
You're doing good. Yourself?
Man, I'm chilling, good.
Chance,
feeling
Michaels.
Good, man. Feeling good.
Awesome. Chance, good to see you, brother, man. How was your weekend?
Pretty good, man. Yours?
Doc, can't complain, man. We had a bit of a long weekend up here in Canada, so an extra day off for all of us yesterday. So yeah, nice little recharge, a little bit. But otherwise, let's just get into this puppy here, man. First off, Mike, before we break it down, what was the vibe like in the arena?
Man, it was crazy. Like,
okay,
I've been to a Monday Night Raw,
right,
and I've been to a SmackDown. But going to SummerSlam, man, it was crazy. Like, the whole stadium was pretty much full. And just the energy, the vibe, everybody was there to see all the matches. You know, you got grown men being big kids, you know, with the t-shirts, the title belts, you know, it was just a good vibe down there. And it's always a good vibe when WWE comes to Detroit, you know. It was definitely an A+ on everything. The vibe, the festivities they had going on in different communities in Detroit, and it definitely felt like WrestleMania in the summer. They made it feel like that.
Yeah, I got that impression as well. What was the crowd like? Like, first off, let me ask you this, if I may. Did you watch it back when you got home at any point yet?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You did. Okay.
Yep.
So from your perspective, was the crowd like Chance, help me out here, let me know what you think. I thought the crowd kind of killed the show a little bit.
The crowd was the crowd, they were into the show. They were hyped.
Okay. It didn't come across that way on TV though. I just felt it didn't come across the television that way.
My favorite moments was when Cody came out, you know, the whole whoa part, you know, everybody went crazy and said it when that part came on. Seth Rollins entrance, everybody loved that. And then even when he came into the ring, they went for 10 minutes just still singing his song. The Roman entrance was pretty dope. You know, the crowd was into it. They were also into Jey Uso's. I had put Roman's entrance on my YouTube page. So if you want to check that video out just to see what the crowd looked like, but I loved it. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
Like,
cool.
I didn't get a chance to go to WrestleMania when they were here for WrestleMania 23. So, you know, SummerSlam, I had a good time. Me and my wife went and we loved it.
Fantastic. Reasonable?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, reasonable. Not bad. All right, perfect. All right, so let's get into it, man. The show starts off with Logan Paul versus Ricochet. Pretty good match, I'd have to say. You know, like I don't think anything per se was viral the way they kept building it up. But overall, I thought the match was really good, and I think I called how Logan would win it, right? I mean, we all said Logan would win, but I did call it, say that he'd probably cheat somehow to win it. And sure enough, the brass knuckles did come out. But overall, good match. Your guys' thoughts? I had no issues with it at all.
Well, I love Logan Paul, man. I think he's one of the best performers in WWE. It was awesome. Actually, had a couple. Well, that 750 Spanish fly that went viral. Not quite as some of the other moves they've done, but it was a great match. I mean, good action, high flying moves, and great way to kick off the show. I thought it was brilliant. What do you think, Mike? You were there live. How was the vibe there for that match?
Oh yeah, the vibe. Sorry, the vibe was the vibe was crazy. Like you said, they had a bunch of nice high flying spots. I think the thing that I liked the most was how Logan Paul was taunting Samantha Irvin, you know, Ricochet's fiance. And then if you look on the internet, they got it after the match when she didn't want to announce that Logan Paul was the winner, and they kept showing her face. She was so pissed off. It was kind of funny, but like you guys said, high flying spots. I was surprised that somebody came out to help Logan Paul win, but it was a win that he needed because the other matches that he had that were one-on-one, he lost. So I think it's a good win for him. So when he does come back, he'll have something to brag about.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. And obviously, a lot of those spots would go viral just because of the name Logan Paul, so that's understandable. But in terms of that organic viral spot, like you were saying earlier, Chance, the Royal Rumble spot, things like that, I don't think this match had it. But that being said, that's the only thing I'll say about it. Match was great. Both guys worked together. They had some good chemistry together. I like that. Outside of that one move where I think, you know, they completed it, the Spanish Fly, but it just the landing and the follow through wasn't 100%. That's my only criticisms of that whole thing. And they didn't rush it either, even though Logan had to get out of there and get to Dallas for his brother's fight. You know, these guys win a good 18-20 minutes, man. A good opening match for the night, good start to the night. And honestly, like I said, I think the best three matches of the whole night happened in the first hour and a half of the show.
I guess we got to stop saying Logan Paul's a celebrity wrestler, celebrity guest, because he's better than 90% of the roster. I consider him a real wrestler. If he can go out there and open up SummerSlam and perform like that, I think we got to lose the title of he's a celebrity, like a Bad Bunny. Like, this guy can go and he can hang with everybody. Like you said, Mike, he was taunting the wife. Like, he's a great heel. Like, he's a real wrestler. As good as anybody on the card in my book. I
totally agree. And just like you said, Bad Bunny too. If they wanted to stop, if Bad Bunny wanted to stop being a singer and be a wrestler, he would fit right on in. It wouldn't be nothing where it's like, oh, he's just getting this push because of who he is. Like, he really put the work in. You know what I'm saying? And every match that he's been in with WWE has been good. And that's the same thing with Logan Paul. And like you said, I agree. You got to take the celebrity wrestler off their name and just say that they pro wrestlers.
Yeah, no, fair play, man. He's definitely proven himself to me. I'm the harshest critic of it, man. Go back to our other shows. I struggle accepting the fact that he's good. He's good, straight up. I'll say it, right? I've accepted that. But I think for me, to be fair, the reason I was probably harsh on him is because I love wrestling so much. You know, it's just I want to see guys who put the effort in and work hard, right? And a lot of times celebrities come in and they kind of make a mockery of it, right?
But I think Logan Paul's worked harder than mostly anybody. Look how quick
No. And that's what I'm saying. Saying, right? He's proven himself. He hasn't made a mockery of it. He's followed the protocol. He's done, you know, he followed tradition, right? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, when I look at professional wrestling, I'm still a purist. I still believe in shaking everybody's hand in the back and then blah, blah, blah. It's cultural, right? I mean, the sport will evolve, but the traditions should always remain the same. And I think
a lot of people, Logan Paul, have a hard time, not you, but in general, comprehending this guy is such a talent. He's so athletic. He's so naturally cocky that he can walk in there and outperform 90% of the roster, because that's how damn good he is. Where these other guys will be on the indie scene for 10, 15 years and can't get to a spot. But that's how good this guy is. It's the way it is.
Well, I mean, I think.
Oh, I'll just go ahead and say about it, as far as Logan Paul and Bad Bunny, as far as like the celebrity wrestling, they're not a David Arquette. And you know how much of a mockery he made.
Well said.
Hey, if you think that's all I can say on that point.
Before Bad Bunny came onto the scene, you could say that every celebrity that ever came onto the show, bar maybe one or two, you know, we're just there for the payday, for the recognition, and for the fucking cheap pop of their movie or whatever they were promoting at the time, correct? If you look at it, you know, Pete Rose, he didn't do too much, but he respected everything. For whatever he did.
You've had a couple guys, like Karl Malone was pretty good.
Well, I get that, right? But even Karl Malone and stuff like that, I mean, WCW, I get all that. You know, they were trying to piggyback off of everything that WWE was trying to do at that time as well.
But Malone was still some good diamond cutters. He looked the part.
Absolutely.
There's a few.
But there's a handful, like I said, right? But I mean, since Bad Bunny came onto the scene and he took it seriously and he showed the respect to the industry, Logan Paul's done the same, right? So, for like I said, it took me a little while to warm up only because I was just waiting for that shoe to fall and something to happen. But you know what? He's in his tenure, he's doing great, but let's move on, man.
Yep.
Now, guys, probably the shockingest match of the night, in my opinion. Let's go right into it. Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes, part 3. Solid match, man. These guys went back and forth. Very, very. It kind of played out the way I kind of thought it would. Brock beating him up for a good chunk of time. Then Cody finally getting that. He obviously needs the ring post and stuff like that to get some sort of offense in to slow him down. But great back and forth. Great match overall. Both guys worked really, really well. The chemistry was good. It flowed really well. And I think the best part and the most shocking part of that fight was probably what happened at the end.
Yeah.
Cody, so let's say it. Cody gets the win, but Brock does something that he's never done in his combat career. I've never seen him do it. Have any of you guys seen him? He shook his hand and gave him a hug, man.
Yeah, that was crazy. And they actually said that wasn't part of the match. Like he did that on his own.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some type of mutual respect. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Brock felt like, him coming in from AEW and jumping right into the mix and being the top guy, maybe he felt some type of way and felt like he got to prove himself to me. And
yeah,
that's the only thing that I could think of, overall, it was a good match. Of course, Brock took him to Suplex City. But Cody's probably the new John Cena right now. So, he had to find some way to overcome all the suplexes, and he did it, and he got the victory. Very, very good match, too.
Yeah, like Brock Lesnar wasn't planned. He said, you basically saying you've earned my respect. This is the next guy, kind of, trying to put him over even more after even beating him. He put him over even more. So, good moment. That's probably the highlight of the match. It was a good match. It wasn't like a classic, but it was good, solid. Happy with it, and we're glad Brock did that for him. So it's a cool moment.
And Cody even did the dashing Cody Rhodes smile. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So here's what we got from this match. So Brock took off his gloves. So people are thinking, okay, is he leaving? What's the plan? He'll be back in October. He's scheduled for the October pay-per-view. So we don't know who he's going to fight there. I guess hunting season's in full effect right now, so he's probably back up here in Canada hunting.
But you don't want to see Brock all the time. You only want to see him a few times a year, so he needs a break. Make him more special.
Yeah. But I will say this for this program here. One thing that Cody did say, Cody said that Brock is his Harley Race to what Harley Race was to Dusty. In terms of that level of respect that he has for Brock. The way Dusty respected Harley Race is the way he respects. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of the notion of it all. The other thing I kind of took away from this, those 3 matches those two had, if you think about it, that's the equivalent of 15 matches just because the way Brock wrestles. Right?
Yeah, the way he tossed you around. Yeah.
Right? Like, okay. So here's my thing with Brock. I really believe he does not get enough respect within the industry for what he does for the wrestlers. Okay, let's look at it. What he did for Drew McIntyre, he did not have to put him over, but he put him over. And he got mad at him for not doing more to him to put him over. Saying, you should have hit me harder. You should have done this to me more. I'm putting you over, man. Right? Brock doesn't need to put anybody over.
Yeah, that's true.
So what he did with Cody is like, I put you through the ringer. I beat the shit out of you for that 1 year that you missed. I beat the shit out of you for that year. Yeah. And this is me showing you that mad respect. How many guys have gone 3 solid matches like that with him of that size, the size differential, and held their own, right? So I think that's where a lot of that kind of ties in. I mean, Brock is a very, very special guy. And, Chance was mentioning it to me earlier that, he's impressed by what Triple H had to say about it as well. He's underrated. I mean, we will definitely recognize how great this guy was when he decides to never come back.
I think he's the greatest athlete ever to step in this squared circle. And if you consider we did in UFC, almost making the NFL, dominating WWE, no other wrestler can have that resume. So for that, he's one of probably the greatest athlete ever to come in the WWE ring, I think.
Yeah, top 5 athlete ever.
I
Easy,
say, well, I
right?
say number one athlete, maybe not the greatest wrestler of all time, but he's the best. Nobody can do what he does from any generation. They haven't. He's the only one that's ever done it.
I guess the closest we
I
would
agree.
probably get to it is like a Dion baseball, football is probably the
Deion
closest
Sanders,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that, right? Like,
Right.
yeah.
And then who was the guy from the Lions who played baseball too?
Bo Jackson
Bo Jackson, he played for the Kansas City Royals.
and the
Right,
Raiders, yeah.
And the Raiders,
Yep.
right? Yeah, yeah. So I guess baseball and football are probably the only other sport that you could probably pull that off with. You're right,
It's
man.
amazing when you think of it.
You think and combat sports, the hardest of them hard,
Mhm.
right? So he didn't pick anything easy, man. I mean,
No.
offensive line, octagons, and wrestling rings.
Yeah.
Hats off to the man. Hats off to the man. All right, let's get into match number 3. World heavyweight title on the line. I'm surprised they put this match here, but you know what? I'm glad they did. We have Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor world heavyweight title match. Really playing off of the 7 years. I don't know if you probably saw it on the monitors, but he had the 7 right across the scar where Seth injured him.
Yeah.
These guys, I didn't expect anything but a good match from these guys, regardless, right? I think the only thing that I was waiting for to see, were we going to get Finn or were we going to get the Demon? We got Finn. So that kind of came out and they started doing their thing, and that match was great up until the judgment decided to come out. I thought that was just the stupidest thing in the world. I thought up until then they didn't need to come out. I don't think they need any of it. But your guys' thoughts?
I thought that Judgment Day part of the match was cheesy and corny. They didn't need it. The only thing I was shocked about that people actually thought Finn was going to win. I knew for sure Seth was going to win. He just got the belt. They're not taking it from him. So a lot of the stuff we hear, they're not. This guy wants time off. This guy wants time off. It's just a lot of the IWC that's making up stories and plant bull crap. But it was a great match. They should have kept Judgment Day out of it. I don't like the Judgment Day. I think it's getting kind of corny and over. This seems cheesy to me, but they went like they're both great athletes. It was an awesome match. Mikey D, you were there. What do you think?
It was a good match, and it just go back to what I said about Finn when I was on your show last week. Like, he's the leader of the Judgment Day. Like, you can't be a leader of a faction and not have a belt. And it's just confusing. Yeah. Like, what are they doing with Finn? Like, what is he fighting for? Like, he's gonna get there's so many chances you're gonna get before people are gonna be like, okay, you're not about to win, bro. You're not about to win. And it's just like now, with him and Damian Priest still going back and forth, and now that JD McDonough is somehow is getting into the mix now, like, what's gonna happen with Finn? And who's the leader? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, can you take him serious as a leader without winning the big one? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
The match was good, but I just hate that Finn keep taking these losses and he's supposed to be the leader. That's like Hulk Hogan not being the champion of the NWO, but Scott Hall, and no disrespect.
Hogan's a leader. Yeah.
Yeah, or X-Pac being the WWE champion and not Triple H, Okay.
Yeah.
They gotta figure that situation out.
All right. So
totally agree with you. Agree.
No, I agree with you as well. So last night on Raw, here's something I picked out. So when they were coming down the aisle, the Judgment Day, you saw Damian, and then you saw the other 3 behind him walking, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When Damian went into the ring, Rhea, Dom exchanged this glance with Finn. They didn't look at Damian at all. They exchanged this really interesting, go back and look at it. Exchanged this really interesting glance with Finn. JD McDonough, and again, let's talk about this because, like I said, all of a sudden JD McDonough's back, right? He was missing for a long time. Rick Boogs was missing for a long time. A lot of the guys that were in that Royal Rumble were missing for a long time.
Yeah.
Right? And think about it. Your guy, Madcap, he wasn't even there.
I know, it's crazy.
He could have been in that Rumble. So you know what I mean? So JD, I have a suspicious feeling you're going to get this program now where they're going to turn on him. I thought they were going to turn on him on Monday. I really did. I really thought they were going to turn on Damian on Monday. But it's going to happen.
It's brewing. Yeah.
JD's going to take his spot, and I think he's more vicious. and more ruthless as a person. I don't know if you caught him a lot on NXT, just his persona, his character.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
gonna mesh well with Finn, and
yeah,
something's gonna happen here. Just watch, it's gonna brew. And now, and again, now we know what Seth is doing now, right? We saw the
Yep.
heel turn last night with Nakamura.
Yeah.
yeah,
So we got his
yeah.
program all set up now. So this Judgment Day is going to get interesting. It's going to get interesting.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what? I think what they're trying to do with Judgment Day is have them as that top faction when the Bloodline storyline simmers down. So I think that what we're seeing with the Bloodline, how the story is just how it's going slow, I think we're gonna kind of see the same thing with the Judgment Day as well.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
things are brewing, and New Day's back. I didn't even know
Yeah.
about that, right? So throw those two back in the mix as well, and onto Raw as well. So, and they've been gone for a while, so it's kind of fresh to have them back, right? So
Yeah.
let's go. All right, Battle Royal, sorry, for a chance to be the face of Slim Jim. We all picked it. We all called it. LA Knight
Too
was
obvious.
the guy. It was
Yeah.
obvious, but the right guy won.
Definitely.
And I like the program that's coming out of it. The Miz is jealous of LA Knight now. So
Yeah.
that's going to be an interesting program as we go forward here. The return of Omos. No one saw that coming.
No, it's good.
Did his
Yeah.
damage, got tossed out of there. So that's good. I don't think anybody really wants him to be the face of Slim Jim. I don't think there's enough Slim Jims to feed the man.
Right.
From your vantage point, did you truly appreciate the size of Brock and Omos, or were they pretty small coming out to your vantage point?
Are you talking about as far as
Seeing them live?
you know what? We were in like the middle section.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, great seats.
yeah. So we got a little glimpse of them coming out or whatever. Really couldn't see Omos because everybody in front of me was standing up and stuff. So it was kind of difficult to see the size of Omos, and same thing with Brock too. When they came during the Brock and Cody match, everybody was just standing up to see them come out. So yeah.
I got a good view of Omos in Montreal. I was probably about 30 feet away from him. The guy is a monster. His hands, his feet, his neck. He is that tall. He's pretty athletic. He doesn't get enough credit for how big he is. He moves very well.
Yeah.
They need to do better with him as far as pushing him, because they got him at the point now where it's like you can't take him serious as a giant, because when he had the match against Braun Strowman, and then he went up against Brock, he should have won against Braun, and he should have lost against Brock. And then after that, he has Seth Rollins, and it's just like you can't take him serious as a giant because he doesn't have a serious win, or he doesn't have a couple serious wins. You could put him up against Otis, you know what I'm saying? And that'll make him look credible, you know what I'm saying? Otis is a big guy. He's not as tall as him, but he's a big guy.
The problem with the big men, and this is nothing new. I mean, we can go all the way back to Haystacks Khalud, in the 70s, and look at some of the real big men of that stature, right? And it comes to a point, what can you do with them per se, except be a spectacle? I mean, when you debut the guy and he's beating 4 against 1, and then he's beating everyone within an inch of their life, right? And then he goes up against some of the bigger names and destroys the mid card. And of course, then you got the 3 or 4 big names, and you would expect at least one of them to give it up to him, but they don't, and he loses those. So what can you do with a guy? Because if you put a title on him, who's going to beat him? Right? Like it just you almost
the world of wrestling, and even you could have Rey Mysterio beat him. You never know in the world.
No, I know what you mean.
Guys out here.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, but just the way they built him, right? It's kind of hard. Yeah. You pigeonhole yourself with guys like that. You limit yourself to what you can do with them.
But I agree with Mikey. He's a giant. He's the biggest man in wrestling or any promotion. They got to showcase him more and let him dominate more, because it's rare to get an athlete that big that can move like he can move.
Use
him better.
No, for sure.
He got more wins against the jobbers that already be in the ring when they come back from commercial than he do against actual wrestlers.
Yeah. I know it's crazy.
I know, but that's the thing. They just keep showcasing him like that. But the thing is, in order for him to get with some other bigger names, he has to have a bit of a storyline then to justify that, right? Like, for example, why would you put him in there on an unbuilt match against even an Otis? Like, you'd have to have like a backstage, like something, just to build
He
it
can
up
just
a
run
little.
on start punching dudes, man, and hit a guy and make a feud out of that. In wrestling, dude, it's so ridiculous and so corny that anything can happen, right?
So I get it. But if it to make it more believable against, like, okay, say for example, he goes out there and just starts beating up Roman Reigns. I want to see that. You know what I mean? Like, he's one guy that can go out there. You want to show me that? That's fun, right? But if you were to go in there and I'm having a match with Roman Reigns, well, how? You haven't been on TV in 6 months. Where the fuck do you get this match from? That's what I'm saying. With the bigger names, you have to build it a bit up more, which means he has to be around a bit more, right?
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they give him something.
Yeah, well, let's see what they do.
And you know what? I think with MVP and Omos coming back and what we saw on SmackDown with the Street Profits, that's something right there that you got to be, because that could be the new Hurt Business right there.
Well, that's what I was telling you guys before. This is happening, right? So I mean, forget the Street Profits, call them the Suit Profits, right? I mean, I don't know what their new name's going to be.
Yeah.
But what's his Montavious Ford, and who's the other guy, man? He looked really stupid in his
Angelo Dawkins.
Angelo Dawkins. His tie was too short on Friday. His tie looked stupid, man. He didn't look good, man. Poor guy.
But you know what? Just the piggyback on Omos, I think if you put him in the U.S. title with the U.S. title and let him kind of dominate with that belt the way Gunther is dominating with the Intercontinental title, I think that could give Omos a little credibility, a little bit,
Yep.
Let me ask you guys this before we move on, because I'm only thinking, Mike, you brought this into my head, the U.S. title and the guy who holds the U.S. title, Mr. Austin Theory. I've read some articles, like legitimate articles, they're not dirt sheets or anything, just talking about character development and stuff like that. And some people are arguing that his match with Cena was a waste of time because they haven't done anything with him to build him off of that. Do you guys agree with that? Do you see
Totally
that
agree.
happening?
I don't know who's in charge of booking Theory or what's going on, but they need some better creative people around, some new writers, because this guy's young, he's built, he's a good-looking guy. He just beat one of the greatest of all time, and then he goes right back down the tube. So they flubbed that one. Whoever did it, I think they dropped the ball with that. So I agree with what you read.
Right?
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, and that just shows you right there that he was definitely a Vince McMahon guy, because once Vince had all that stuff came out about him and he stepped away from WWE, his his stock dropped, you know what I'm saying? And even when he beat John Cena, it dropped even more. Like, he's not doing nothing with the U.S. title. Like I said, give it to Omos, build him up a little bit and put a story together with Omos and Austin Theory and just let Omos get it. Or the guy Santos Escobar. I heard that WWE's real high on him too. So I think that's probably going to be the next U.S. champion. But
if that's the case, he's going to drop it this Friday.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Fair enough.
Could be.
Sorry, Chet.
Yeah. He might. Hopefully, Theory beats him, but yeah, he might lose it this Friday.
Okay.
It's too bad because they're taking down the young guys and they're building old guys. Like, I know LA Nate's popular, but the guy's 40 years old. Austin Theory's 25, 26? There's a 15-year age gap here. I mean, LA Knight's his prime's already gone 5-10 years ago. He's still good, but he's a 40-year-old man who just gets his break now. You got to bring up the young guys like Theory and the younger guys.
I agree with you.
WWE is known for using young guys and building them. Old guys is what AEW and WCW does. But I love Hogan guys. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying you got young talent like this, you got to bring them up.
I think LA Knight is the exception. I think LA Knight's the exception here. I'm not saying you're wrong in what you're saying. I just think that he just caught lightning in the bottle, and they'd be remiss if they didn't do something with it. I think he's good enough for the U.S. title. I wouldn't put him in the heavyweight title picture in any chance like that.
Well, the crowd loves an underdog. They see an old man come out there, 40 years old, kind of like a Rock kind of thing. It's like a Daniel Bryan. You naturally want to cheer for the underdog, the guy that didn't make it, the guy that didn't get picked for the team. So the fans will actually gravitate to his story, right?
Hey, you know what? In respect to him, man, the guy's worked his ass off. If he get him
absolutely.
10 minutes of fame here, get your paycheck, build a little bit of something. But when it comes to the big four pay-per-views, I'm a firm believer that every title should be defended on the big cards, on the very big ones. I'm not talking about Fastlane or Payback or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Right. But when you're looking at the big ones, like that
Oh,
US
yeah.
title should have been defended. The tag team titles, both female and male, should have been defended on there as well. You know, like I get we have Night of Champions, but even on Night of Champions, some of those titles aren't defended, right?
Yeah.
Here's an interesting scenario. Now, the girls tag team, again, Sonya Deville's torn ACL. Not sure what they're going to do with those belts. They're going to probably have to drop those. Both Sammy and Kevin are injured now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So both those guys are I don't know what they're going to do there, because I mean, based on everyone else who's injured, they're taking the titles off them right away. They didn't take those belts off of Kevin and Sammy yet. And
Maybe they
now
won't be
Sammy,
injured for that long. Then maybe they just temper it for a couple weeks or a month or two.
did you see Sammy's elbow?
No.
Oh,
Go-
yeah.
Yeah, right. It
Yeah.
was, I don't know if it was just what it was, but it was protruding, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they meant to show that on TV or not, but
Yeah. When I saw it, I was like, ooh.
well, that's how they set it up, right? JD came out, beat the shit out of him.
Mhm.
And that's how Shinsuke got into the match. But that elbow was legit injured. He's actually suffering a legit injury.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
that being said, I don't know if it's worse than what Owen had, because I guess Owens wasn't that bad that they could have brought him back. But not to have any of those guys on SummerSlam, you know, kind of disappointing, right?
I didn't mind it.
No.
I didn't even think about it.
No,
But they are
you didn't.
Society,
But you
I
look
don't
at
mind them not being there.
Right. But that battle royal also, again, just showed me how many guys aren't being used
Yeah.
across
There's
the
only so
board.
much time on TV. Can't use everybody, right?
Right. And it takes me back to AEW. How the fuck can they have so many guys on their roster? Like,
Yeah. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
all right. For me, Mike and Chance, I'm not sure how you feel about this, but from watching on television, this is where I started to feel that the crowd was starting to drop. They had moments after this, but I really felt this is where the crowd started to get tired a little bit now. Like, I mean, we're getting late into the night. Next match, Shayna versus Ronda. I was expecting more. I thought more of this match. It was a disappointment, in my opinion. The girls tried really, really hard, but how can you have an MMA match and you're still doing countouts and you're still, you know, grabbing the
Yeah.
rope, right? An MMA match wouldn't have any wrestling rules in it. So they really flubbed it there, and the girls weren't throwing their punches as well as I thought they would, you know.
Yeah.
It
Like I
was
said
tough.
last year, you can't do MMA and boxing shows on wrestling. It looks cheesy and corny, and I knew that was going to happen. They should have had a real match.
I thought
I totally agree. And when I was there, it wasn't that the crowd was getting tired and it was sleepy. They were chanting that match was boring.
they weren't
Like
invested.
a lot of people were going to the bathroom during that match, or a lot of people were going to concessions during that match.
Yeah.
Out of all the matches at SummerSlam, that was the worst match of the night.
Absolutely.
And I felt really bad for them because I know they put their heart and soul into it. They worked really hard to make this match. And I personally feel like I understand this much now that, you know, going back and reading some things now, that they were having a hard time with creative in putting this match together. Creative was not working with them to make it happen the way it needed to, right? Like I said, Chance and Mike, I thought that these two girls could pull it off because they came from the same place. They came.
You can't figure the fake punches. It doesn't work.
No. Meaning wise, if they could have put the match together the way they wanted to, I know for a fact they didn't want countouts and all the, you know, wrestling rules involved in it, right? Maybe their punches will still have looked the same, but I think it would have been easier to digest if, you know, you have a submission on the person and she's grabbing the rope. That's not a break, right? That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm not even sure who booked those girls to have MMA matches. It's a terrible idea. They should have had a regular match, no holds barred or something. And
That's what I was thinking.
Right. In essence, that's probably the way to go. But I think this was a lot to do with Ronda. She wanted it to pay it forward to Shayna, to you know, like if I'm gonna be submitted, if I'm gonna lose, I want it to be from her.
They should tell her you're not
Right?
going to embarrass us on our show and pull up that stunt. It's going to be these kind of matches you don't like. You're on the card, because that was horrendous. It was just, I like Ronda and Shayna, but that was bad. That looked so corny and easy, and that's why people look at wrestling and laugh. This is a joke, because they look. That's what it looked like.
And honestly, they could have took that match off and put the Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus match on the card instead of that MMA match. They could have kept that for Raw.
And meanwhile, Becky's tweeting out from home, with a bag of lemons. I guess I'm making lemonade, so that's what she was doing at home. But the reason they didn't do that match is because they wanted to do it in Toronto next week, where Trish is from.
Okay.
So that's the
Okay.
reason
Makes
behind
sense.
it. It makes sense, but I think this would have looked better on SummerSlam.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Drew versus Gunther. I wasn't really feeling the match before, and to be completely honest, these guys really solidified that for me. After talking to two of you guys, I said, you know what, right? I'm not thinking right. Based on what I saw at Clash at the Castle, based on what you guys were saying, this should be a fucking barn burner. I'm looking forward to it. Fast forward, here's the match. Something was missing. It just wasn't there. I don't know.
I agree. I
Right?
agree with you.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
What do you think, Mike? You were there. What was it like?
I think the crowd was into it, but I think for me, like, and it just go back to what I said on your show last week. I don't see Drew getting a serious win right now, especially if he's not dedicated to WWE long term in the future. I don't see them putting him in a position where they're gonna make him make him look like he's gonna win this match. Like, it was hard hitting. They had some good moves and punches and stuff. But for me, I knew Gunther was gonna win. I'm just like, Drew is not gonna win this, especially if he's not gonna re-sign with them long term. They're not gonna take him serious. They're basically gonna use him to put other people over, and they've done it with any wrestler that was rumored to be on their way out. And I think, I'm still gonna stick with it. That's what they're doing with Drew.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure, if what the plan is with him or what they're trying to do, but I just something about that match. And you think about it, a year ago to what he was doing a year ago to what this match was, it's a huge down spiral for me, man.
Oh, it looks like Drew's checked out a little bit.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like to me.
And I don't think Gunther's probably not going to lose his title till probably after Survivor Series or something, anyways, right? So
the match had potential, but it wasn't that great. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but those guys they've done better. They could do better.
Yeah, I mean, they put the work in. It didn't explode. It didn't pop.
I think after we've seen it a few times, they just chop and do the big punch. We've seen it so many times with them. I hope this feud's done and they move on to other feuds now.
Well, I mean, Gunther's fighting Gable now, so I mean, we're just gonna kind of go through these motions right now for a while. All right, let's get to the women's match here. The title on the line, triple threat: Asuka, Bianca, and Charlotte Flair. I will start off by saying this match started off really slow, but started to pick up steam as it went on, and the crowd finally started to pick up with it. But in the beginning, it was a slow go. What did you see, Mike?
The match, like you said, it started off slow. It was also kind of sloppy because Charlotte Flair kind of missed some spots. That moonsault that she did out of the ring, she didn't even touch Bianca Belair. She just touched all air. But overall, it was a good match. I actually thought Bianca Belair was injured for real, because she hit her knee pretty hard on those steel steps.
Yeah, did you see that? Because I never saw, like, from all the replays and everything that I saw, I heard the sound and everything, but I never saw the knee actually hit.
You know what? I just saw because when I saw her fall and I heard the boom, but then when she hit the ring, like when she was on the floor, I just saw her holding her knee. So that for sure, I'm not sure.
No, but she sold it beautifully though. I mean, if that was a part of the story, if that was a part of the match, she sold it beautifully. And obviously it is a part of the match because if she was legitimately injured, there'd be no cameras on her at all.
Yeah, and you would have seen the referee throw up the X too. That's how you know it's a real injury.
Yeah. The real injury, the X or no cameras at all, right? We've seen it in the past where the guy's actually injured. They just focus on the guys in the ring, the girls in the ring, and they won't even look at the person that's out there. So obviously this was a part of the match, but she did a beautiful job of selling it. Wow, right? Very, very shocked to see her win it though. But the way they did it, man, just the way they did it. I mean, here she is. She's in that figure eight. Asuka comes in, sprays that mist in the face. But just the way she got the pin. I mean, it was believable, right? Because it was just so quick. Like it was just a small package, a roll up. even Oscar looked shocked, but then boom, boom, here comes my girl. And guys,
Yeah.
I'm not tooting my own horn, but toot. I called this one. Io came out,
You
did what I thought she was going to do, and here we go, man. This is going to be fun. Now we got 4 ladies that are involved in this picture. I don't know what direction to go with this now. I don't know what's going to happen.
It's hard to say. You called it. Yeah, it was a decent match. I don't think it was great, but it was good.
It warmed up as it went on, right? Like I said, in the get-go, it was not much to write home
I'll say
about.
one thing about the SummerSlam. For all the matches we've talked about, there was no anything spectacular. There was no surprises. There was nothing. It was the creative didn't do a very good job from that standpoint. I don't think. I mean, one of the big 4 papers, you want to see something happen that you would. Oh my God, look what happened! Nothing really. I mean, she cashed the Money in the Bank. It's cool, but it wasn't like out of your seat moment like when Brock ended the streak or something crazy. It was just. Yeah. That's why I was taken away from the show.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing is like, who do you bring in though? Who do they have to bring in, right? I mean,
you don't have to bring in anybody. You can have somebody win that you would think was going to win, or just do something small. But everything was so predictable. Like, they need better writers and better creative at WWE because some of these writers, they're not very creative anymore.
Well, to be fair, I mean, we all thought. I mean, I thought Asuka was going to win. I thought Asuka was going to retain. And you as well, right? We all picked Asuka, right? So, I mean, I guess Bianca beating her was kind of a surprise. I mean, I didn't see that happening.
But it's not out of this world. Like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Bianca's one of the best ever.
Right. But I'm going to take something you say on every big show. How many? There's going to be times where you're not going to get it, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this is one of those shows where we couldn't get it. It was just. There was really not much there. Like, even let's go right into it. The final match of the night. I'll be honest, Mike, at this point, we're going into about 3.5 hours, almost 4 hours here.
Yeah, it's almost midnight out in Detroit.
It's almost midnight in Detroit. Yeah. I'm getting fucking tired sitting on my sofa, which is very, very comfortable. I can only imagine what 59. Now, first off, was it really 59,000 people? You've been in that stadium probably for football games, I believe, right? In other events?
Yeah, I've been there for football games. Pretty much football games. And,
right.
Yeah, it was. What's
the capacity for a Lions game? What's a sellout?
It's like 70,000.
70,000.
Yeah.
So would you say that was legit 59,000 in there?
I would say it was legit.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
They did have one part of the stadium blacked out, but it
obviously that's where the screens are and everything, right?
Yeah. But for the most part, the stadium was sold up. It was full.
And you had the Tigers playing at the same time. So I mean, there was that point, I believe, where the Tigers got out and these guys were all coming together. I heard that area was just a gong show.
Yeah, and not just that. There were a lot of wrestling parties going on at some of the restaurants down there. I think Hockey Town Cafe had one. A lot of independent shows down there the day before. GCW had a show the day before. Jeff Hardy was there. I think they had a WrestleCon at one of the facilities. I think Huntington Place.
Right.
So yeah, it was a dope weekend.
I don't know if it was advertised, but did the Taker do his one-man show out there? Was that out there at all? I don't know. I never heard anything about the SummerSlam on.
I didn't see any.
No, I don't think so.
No, right? Okay. Because I know that he usually does it at every pay-per-view city, right? But maybe do this one.
I've been to a couple of those one-man shows, and they're okay. But
who did you go to?
I've seen the Flair one. I've seen the Hogan one. They're good, but I don't know. It's not like a must see. I wouldn't say, like, you know what I mean. Like,
fair enough.
All the stories you've heard them talk on the podcast are just basically reiterating that on their live shows.
I guess it's just seeing them live and, you know what I mean, being a part of it that way. All right, so let's get into it. Last match of the night. After 15 minutes of intros to get to the ring, ladies and gentlemen, Roman Reigns versus main event Jey Uso. Dude, I'm not exaggerating. I timed it. Entrances alone took about 12 to 13 minutes for both these guys to get inside the ring. Yeah. Like
I could believe it. I could believe it because when I recorded Roman's entrance, it was about 5
minutes. Yeah. Right. So between the two of them combined, it was about 12 to 13 minutes before they actually got into the ring. And then you throw in the whole acknowledge me portion of it, 15 minutes before they actually started anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, okay. So I'm gonna just look. It furthered the storyline. I get it. But of all the bloodline story matches that we've gotten, I'd have to say this is probably the one that I was waiting to end the quickest. Not a bad match, had its moments, this and that. I hear that Roman got injured early on, so this is why it probably makes sense now why it slowed down even more. But it was a total Roman paced match, very slow, very methodical. You had your moments there, and I was left shaking my head at the end because I really don't know how many more times each one of these guys are going to turn on each other. So the big surprise, Chance Michaels and Mike D, was Jimmy Uso coming back and turning on his brother. So yeah, no new Usos, no new nobody. The big surprise, Jimmy turning on him. So I don't know. I don't know where this is going.
The one thing that I noticed in the match, well, first of all, the pay-per-view I thought was a little bit too long. 4 hours for WrestleMania, okay. For SummerSlam, I think you got to keep it 3.5. When I went to the one 2 years ago in Vegas, it was about 3.5. The one Cena returned, but it was a good match. It wasn't great. I don't think they have amazing chemistry. The story is good that they were telling, but I mean, this bloodline thing is dragged on and on and on. I think it's time to have a couple more feuds and get, let Roman feud with somebody else. This is becoming like, I don't know. I think it's too much.
You know what's the scary part about this whole thing is
I'm getting tired of it, I guess.
If you guys watched the press conference after, did you watch any of that, guys?
I heard.
No, I was.
Okay, well, go back. It's on.
Home.
Go back. It's on YouTube. Watch it. Someone asked Paul Heyman because he came out to do an interview, and they asked him, "So, what inning are you guys in, in terms of the story?"
Yeah.
Right? He goes, "We're probably in the third inning." The fuck? How can you guys be in the third inning with this, man? The reality of sorry, Mike, the reality of this is very simple. Roman and Paul have such creative control over this story. It will end when they decide it's going to end. Right?
Yeah.
No, I don't agree with that. Vinnie Mac could pull the rug from under them any second if he gets pissed off. I don't think they're going to let him dominate like that unless they want it.
Well, at this time, place and time, they have a lot of control. I'm not saying that at some point Vinny will say something, but a lot of control. How was the crowd for this match, man? Like on TV, it came really quiet at points, right?
Were they tapped out by now and tired, or was it hyped?
Yeah, they got hyped when they came out, like when Jay came out and he was doing this thing on the ropes. The crowd got hyped for that. They got hyped when Roman came out. You could kind of tell, like, it was getting late. They were kind of simmering down, but for the most part, they everybody was still into it. People were still chanting and just doing their thing. But it was getting late. I was starting to get a little tired myself. So.
and Mike, it only took me 45 minutes to get that out of you, bro. I was waiting for you to hear that. Like, excitement aside, like, how long were you in that stadium for total time?
Because I want to say.
What time did you leave your house?
4 hours.
4 hours.
I left my house probably about 6:30.
Oh, okay.
Because the show started at 7:30. So yeah, I got there about 7:30. So we were there about 4 hours.
Okay. Any merch?
No, I didn't get any merch. I was just happy to sit down, like, because it.
So tell me, in the crowd, what did you notice the most of in terms of merchandise? Who would you say, just based on your own observation,
best selling T-shirt that you've seen? In the
what wrestler won the night on merch?
Saw a lot of Bloodline T-shirts, a lot of LA Knight. It was a mixture. You still had people with John Cena shirts. You had people with NWO. You had a lot of people out there with the title belts. You had kids with their belts. I would say it was a mixture as far as like merchandise, superstars. What the fans were wearing as far as the merchandise.
Now, Detroit City, the city of Kronk. So you got some heavy hitters out there. Were there any good action in the stands that we didn't get to see on TV?
Oh no.
Nice.
It was all a good time. It was
awesome.
All a good time.
Awesome.
That's the one thing that I could say about when WWE comes to Detroit. It's never no craziness. You'll see some drunk people, and you get your laugh on. But for the most part, it's always a good time, you know.
Nice.
That's one
Nice.
that's one thing I can say about my city. When they come, is nothing bad. You know, nobody jumping in the crowd to attack a wrestler. It's just all love, all love and fun.
Awesome.
When WWE comes to a city, they take it over and they do a great time. It's a whole week, the whole weekend of.
I'm
They do
really
it well.
curious, Mike, and I hope you kind of find this out and post it for us. I wonder how much Detroit made for this week.
Oh, so they announced it, I think Sunday, that this past Saturday, that was the highest grossing SummerSlam ever.
No, just
And
in terms of the city
oh,
He means
itself.
like hotels,
okay,
restaurants.
okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up for y'all.
Look it up because I'm curious. Because I mean, outside of maybe a couple cities in the world, WWE charges for the show to be there.
Yeah.
So, for example, Puerto Rico paid 1.5 million for Backlash, but
Oh,
they
yeah,
probably
yeah.
got 10 million back in revenues from everyone buying and being there and whatnot. So, I wonder how much a SummerSlam would cost Detroit, and I wonder how much they would have made.
Yeah.
London is one city that they don't charge to have a show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because London on its own is tourist magnet. They don't care, right? Like if WWE were to say to them, okay, we want to do this show here, but it's this much, they'll go, no, it's okay. We don't need it. So
Yeah.
the show for free there. They do, literally. All right, guys, very quickly here, I will give the show a solid 6.5, 7. I'm leaning more towards 6.5, but I'll be fair and I'll give it a 7. What do you guys give it?
Mike?
I would go ahead and say 7. The matches were good, but it's also like what Chance said, I was looking for that surprise. Like, even if Grayson Waller came out and talked some trash and The Rock came out, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what they were talking about leading the SummerSlam, that he was on social media talking about The Rock, and it was rumored that he could possibly be there. So I was looking for something like that, even if it was just Randy Orton just coming out. And
Well, Orton was there. Orton was there. He was
but
in
you know,
town.
if they would have did like a backstage promo,
That's
or
what
something
I
like that.
Well, I really thought that Orton would have come out in the main event somehow and cost Roman or something. Because I mean, if you think about it, him being injured is at the hand of all those guys.
Yeah.
That's
right.
true.
And
That's
with
true.
Randy being back in town, I thought, okay, well, why would he be in Detroit if he's not going to do something?
Yeah.
Right. And he's I think he's ready to go. He really is. I think he's ready.
We'll see him
I was
shortly. He'll come out.
I was hearing that he's not close to returning. That he was just probably just back there.
I heard the same that he's done
show.
for the long time, for the near future.
And the other thing I thought about was, why not bring Braun Breaker up? Like, I keep hearing that he's ready to come up. He's ready to come up. That would have been interesting to see him come up and interfere at some level.
Yeah, I agree, because there's nothing left for him to do in NXT. Like,
really,
I don't want to see
him now.
I don't want to see him lose to Ilya Dragunov or what's the other guy he's
No, him and Dragunov are gonna go now.
Oh, they're going. Oh,
yeah. We'll find out in about an hour and a half here, I guess.
Okay.
Ilya Dragunov. So here's my last question to you, Mike, and we'll wrap this up. Okay. So on the West Coast, we're very blessed because these shows end at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the evening for us, and we still have the whole night ahead of us. What's it like walking out of a show at midnight, man? I've never had to do that.
Man, it could be depending on how good the show is, and depending on what's going on, you can go home and as soon as you get in the door, you just want to just lay in the bed. That's what I would say. But it's all good fun, It's not. It's not nothing where you just sitting there for 3 hours and every match is boring. For the most part, if it's a good show and you went to it, you definitely gonna come back after those 3-4 hours exhausted. And that's not even depending on what you do before you get to the arena. If you pre-gaming or if you going to get something to eat. So
I know people who went to the Tigers game and then just walked right across to the other stadium.
Yeah, they're like really like close to each other. I used to work
Yeah.
at Ford Field, so
Okay.
yeah, and
Nice.
they're literally like right
That
across from each other.
literally becomes an 8-hour day, work day right there, man. Holy shit.
Yep.
All right, Chance, do you have anything on this day in wrestling history, man?
I do
Or-
not know.
I caught you off guard. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. So, Mike,
I'm going to give this card a 7.5 only because they set the record for attendance for SummerSlam, their highest grossing ever. So I'll give it a 7.5 because they set a record. So
fair enough, man. I totally forgot that. Sorry, Chance. My apologies to you, my friend.
all good.
All right, guys, let's wrap this up. Let's get going. Here we are. Survivor Series coming up down the road. We got a couple shows before that, but everything's kind of gearing up and we're heating up. So, Mike D from the 313, thank you so much again, brother, for coming on.
Yeah.
And I hope that
No problem.
we can
Thank you, guys.
collaborate. Yeah, we hope to collaborate again really soon and have a great rest of your week and enjoy everything. My name is Bobby Sampson. I'm joined by my man, Chance Michael. And right below us, we got Mike D wrestling from the 313. If you guys aren't following him, start following him now. And guys,
From
who
Detroit,
follow-
Rock City.
there you go, man.
Detroit
And
City,
those-
Motown, Hockey Town.
That's it, the home of Kronk.
Definitely.
Right. And so, guys, if you're following him, you got to follow us. So, everybody, let's follow each other and let's get this thing off the ground. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week. Samp&Chance and Mike D out.